welcome you to the NovaCare Complex, our continuing coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles 2021 season presented by DraftKings. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, joined by Chris McPherson today. C-Mac, how are you?
I'm doing outstanding. Glad to be here. Can't wait to get Chiefs week rolling
There we go.
We look ahead to Sunday's showdown against Kansas City. And we are looking live at number 97, Javon Hargrave there, Spuds.
Not a bad start to the season for Mr. Hargrave, who is my guest on the Eagles Insider podcast that drops today. C-Mac, look, we've been around a lot of great defensive linemen, and can't remember a three-game start quite like this.
Wow.
Right? 4 quarterback sacks, pressures, playing the run well, getting off the ball, durable, knock on wood. Javon Hargrave and the Eagles defense with a big responsibility this weekend. The Chiefs coming to town. Travis Kelce and company, Jason Kelce and company. It is a big one for the Eagles with the 1-2 Chiefs, who averaged 30.7 points per game. The defense, not that great. They are not among the league's worst teams against the run. Chris, yada yada yada. Let's go. Let's get a win on Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah, going back to Hargrave there. This is what the Eagles. No, not off the top of my head. This is what the Eagles expected when they signed him as a free agent last year, and the injury, COVID, all that stuff, it all mounted into a slow start, but Hargrave played well in the second half of the season. Now, he was outright dominant all throughout training camp in the preseason, and fortunately for the Eagles, it's carried over for years as we look at one of the all-time greats there in Fletcher Cox, number 91. The Eagles have been looking for a complementary piece for Fletcher, so it's not all on him all the time. So that if you're going to say, we're going to double-team Fletcher and take him out because he's still worthy of that, we need someone to win one-on-one. And Hargrave finally has been that guy for the Eagles, but Fletcher Cox still a presence in the middle of the defensive line for this football team.
And it'll be interesting to see moving forward here, will more of the attention shift toward Hargrave? We talked about that on the podcast, that lines are shifting toward him, little slide his way, some double teams his way. But if you double him, you're singling Fletch, and Fletch will have to then win one-on-one battles. He doesn't see a whole lot of them, but he is up for the task. There is rookie Landon Dickerson, Eagles offensive guard, ostensibly in line for his second career start. We saw some video from Fran Duffy that he did in his tape breakdown, highlighting Dickerson's aggressiveness, his finish on blocks. At 6'6", 333 pounds, the future is bright for number 69.
Very much so. This is someone who, coming off the knee injury late in the college season in Alabama, didn't have any training camp whatsoever, very little practice before his first career outing against the San Francisco as he waves to the crowd, realizing that he is live. I'm waiting for him to start doing cartwheels, but nonetheless there, he didn't have a lot of practice time going to that first game, was a little rusty there against the San Francisco 49ers.
I think he's actually dancing. I think he's actually dancing for the camera. Yes, I believe he is.
He's performing. He's showing some personality.
He does have a lot of personality.
But he spoke to the media just before practice a short time ago, and he admitted that even though he felt he played a little bit better than against the 49ers, it's nowhere near, as he keeps saying, the standard. Okay, he's used to playing at Alabama that churns out great offensive linemen year in and year out. Has one of the best college football offensive lines every season. They're talking with Jeff Stoutland. You know that he expects to be at the premier level, and he hasn't gotten to that point, and he's working toward it. And I just like the attitude, the character, as you see these young guys building.
Yeah, Milton Williams, another young player getting a lot of reps. Eagles rookie class certainly being called upon to play, along with the class from 2020. C-Mac, Eagles 1-2 after that loss in Arlington, Texas on Monday night. So it's been a short week, and it's been a week where there is absolutely some adversity. Nick and I talked about that. And
great conversation.
Yeah, he was good. And he goes, there's going to be adversity. That's just the nature of the NFL. The only team that never had adversity was the 1972 Miami Dolphins that had a perfect season. The 2007-2008 Patriots losing in the Super Bowl, undefeated until that time. But certainly the Eagles have to rebound after the loss to the Cowboys, and it does not get easy against Patrick Mahomes, against Tyreek Hill, against Travis Kelce, against Andy Reid, against Steve Spagnuolo. A lot of familiar faces from the Chiefs. But C-Mac, the Chiefs having their own problems. They've been turning the football over. They lost last week to the Chargers, 2 straight losses for them. Right? Did they lose the first week or did they lose 2?
They lost the last 2. They lost to Baltimore in week 2, where it was that
Baltimore
fumble.
ran wild over them, right? And the late game fumble, and then Baltimore goes for it on 4th down. And I think that's the way you have to play it against the Chiefs. You have to go all out and just be incredibly aggressive in your decision making to beat a very, very good team that's legitimately a Super Bowl contender, despite the 1-2 record.
No question. I mean, this is the 2-time defending AFC champions. They are getting everyone's best week in and week out. They have Patrick Mahomes, who can sling the ball all over the yard, and he gets impatient at times, and that's what's led to some of the turnovers. They turned the ball over on their first 3 possessions last week against the Chargers. Certainly, that's not going to win you a lot of football games, but nonetheless, the last 2 losses for the Chiefs have been by a combined 7 points to 2 of the better teams in the NFL. It is still going to be a massive test for this Eagles team, and you want to see how they rebound. You spoke about the adversity. You want to see, as Nick Sirianni told you, double down on what works. So the mentality going into this game is going to be interesting because, to your point, yes, you understand you have to keep the pedal to the metal, and go all out going against a Chiefs team that can put up points in bunches, but that's what the Eagles did against the Cowboys. You still have to play within yourself and do what you do best. So it'll be interesting from that standpoint to see what Sirianni and Shane Steichen and company do in this matchup.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The Ravens, with all of that, needed the late game fumble, needed to convert a 4th down. The Chargers going for it last week on 4th down, making it with a touchdown, and then holding on at the end as, of course, Mahomes puts the Chiefs within striking distance of the end zone. Keeping our eyes there on Rodney McLeod Jr. Now, Rodney, we heard yesterday, walked through kind of practice, but listed as a full participant.
Great news.
And that is great news. So let's see at the end of the day, as you check back to PhiladelphiaEagles.com, our official app, and our social channels, will number 23 be a full participant in practice? Will he make his season debut against the Kansas City Chiefs? Eagles defense could certainly use his leadership, his playmaking ability. And look, Jonathan Gannon is all about not giving up the big play. Dallas set the tone on Monday night with the big throw down the field to C.D. Lamb, opened up everything else. Eagles would be very much welcoming back Rodney when he's ready to come back.
Can you imagine if the Eagles could have McLeod and Anthony Harris, 2 veterans back there, and what that'll add to the defense from a communication standpoint and maybe a little more flexibility standpoint as well from a play calling avenue for Jonathan Gannon to feel like that he can do more, because I anticipate you're going to need to mix things up more against this Chiefs offense. Okay, obviously, again, I said Mahomes got a little impatient, so if it's a situation where the Eagles will just kind of be like, all right, look, we're going to take away the deep threat, we're going to take away Kelsey, we're going to take away Tyreek Hill going deep. All right, you're going to have to, methodically move the ball down the field. That's one avenue to go about it. Or you can mix things up, and having 2 veterans there on the back end there in Harris, in McLeod, certainly presents a lot more possibilities for a young coach like Jonathan Gannon.
C-Mac, it sounds to me an awful lot like you're providing a game plan, but let's be honest, the real game plan comes your way on Sunday morning, 10 o'clock on NBC 10, as well as our website, app, and social media channels on Friday. So we've got you the game plan. We're going to get it to you. Just make sure you watch it and find out what the Eagles have in mind for the Chiefs on Sunday. If you're just joining us, we welcome you into our continuing coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles 2021 season here at the NovaCare Complex. Our coverage presented by DraftKings. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, joined by Chris McPherson on this beautiful Thursday in South Philadelphia. The weather is fine. Eagles rebounding emotionally and physically from the loss on Monday night. And Sunday, the Eagles will host the Chiefs at Lincoln Financial Field, 1 o'clock kickoff. We've got you covered right here on PhiladelphiaEagles.com, as well as our official app and social channels. The kickoff show presented by Exalta. Tune in, 12:15 on Sunday.
Featuring live look-ins of the warm-ups?
The warm-ups, little mood set, scene set over at Lincoln Financial Field. It's going to be 79 degrees. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic day. Maybe cracking the 80-degree mark, but 1 o'clock game here. C-Mac, we don't have a whole lot of home games in the 1:00 range here in the warm weather, because the next home game, of course, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That'll be
time.
Hall of Fame night when John Runyon and Trey Thomas are inducted into the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame. And speaking of Hall of Fame, LeSean McCoy today. Congratulations to you for breaking the story, LeSean McCoy, retiring as a Philadelphia Eagle. He will also be my guest on the Eagles Insider podcast. Great talking to Shady. Amazing, Chris, that it's been since, 2015 that he was traded.
14.
Yeah. He traded in 2015.
Last season.
It seems like yesterday that he was slicing and dicing and making people miss, and on his way to becoming the Eagles' all-time leading rusher. And I asked him the question, does he think he'll be a Hall of Famer, a pro football Hall of Famer? He says yes.
Shocker that he's going to say yes.
But look, in all NFL.
He's a confident player.
Player of the decade. Running back of the team of the decade. So I think he's absolutely a shot.
6 Pro Bowls, 2 first team All-Pros. You mentioned the All-Decade honor. That's a big one. When you look at the Hall of Famers, the All-Decade is a nice one to have on your resume, but has virtually every rushing record in franchise history, and he did it within 6 seasons and wasn't at the prime of his career.
Correct.
He left to go to Buffalo and had some great years there, so who knows what he could have amassed here in Philadelphia if he had stayed for a few more years. But, all indications from him are that the one regret he has is that he didn't get to finish things up here.
Where are you now? Kiko Alonso, of course, the Eagles player. Yeah, the Eagles player acquired in the trade that sent the great LeSean McCoy to the Buffalo Bills, a day that Eagles fans will continue to rue.
I just think back to that Snow Bowl.
Yeah, of course.
8 inches of snow on the ground, and for somehow, some
dashing
way,
through the snow,
was able to do it with ease and just carving up that Lions defense to the tune of 217 rushing yards. Just absolutely phenomenal. But he had so many big-time games, especially against the division rivals. Was just so much fun to watch, so explosive in the short area. Could break one to the house at any given moment. Just an absolute joy to watch. I was going through, leading up to this, going through some old stories, and you had one actually back in 2013 when it was one of his all-pro seasons, and you wrote, realize that we're watching greatness and enjoy it for as long as you can, because it's here today, gone tomorrow, and it truly is.
See how I can see it? I can see into the future. Maybe. I can see into the Eagles' future as we watch the Eagles in the punt return game. Interesting to hear Michael Clay today talk about the return game and the cover game with Andre Sachere, who's doing such a terrific job.
Wonderful job on the pronunciation. Yep.
Yes, he and Zach McPherson teaming up as gunners. Great chemistry with Aaron Sipos, and the Eagles have won the hidden yardage battle. Look, we know this team needs to play better football than it did on Monday night. Missed opportunity against the San Francisco 49ers. You look back and go, oh boy, if the Eagles had just won that game, just think how different the mood would be. Just think about how different as you look long term here with the Eagles in a very, very tough schedule coming up for Philadelphia. But you cannot look back and rue I've used that word twice now, the missed opportunities. You've got to just take advantage of them the next time you have them. Would love to see Jalen bust one. Eagles waiting for that also. Michael Clay blaming himself for a lack of high-end production in the punt return game. We see a cool little drill here. Catch the ball and dodge the pad.
But what was interesting, Clay said that it's not just the returner. You can't just look at Jalen. It's got to be the gunners. There's got to be some openings there for him, because if Jalen's looking up to catch the ball, and as soon as he catches it, there's a guy in his face, of course, what's he going to do? It's just a natural reaction. He's not going to just run up the field. So.
Right. But I think the Eagles will, and he will learn, you cannot outrun this coverage. You cannot go east-west. You want to get north-south faster. So create those running lanes, have him stick his foot in the ground and get north and south. That will be a big plus. With somebody that explosive, you can certainly see Jalen Reagor making plays in the punt return game. We welcome you to the NovaCare Complex here in South Philadelphia as the Eagles going through their paces on this beautiful Thursday. Our continuing coverage of the 2021 Philadelphia Eagles season presented by DraftKings. Dave Spadaro, Chris McPherson, Jalen Reagor, Aaron Moorhead, everybody working together, trying to get back on track after 2 straight losses, 1 to San Francisco and 1 to the Dallas Cowboys. The Kansas City Chiefs coming to town. Our first look, I guess, in person, right? At
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Indeed, yes.
The best quarterback in the NFL right now. Yes. Yeah. I think everybody agrees with that.
I would say you can make the there's some arguments you can make for other players, but I think pretty much
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's up there. Tom Brady had 10 straight wins and had amassed over 30 touchdown passes during that streak, which was snapped.
That's pretty impressive.
Last week, Matthew Stafford off to a great
start,
as well. So it's some great quarterback play around the league. But Mahomes, certainly one of the best, and he can do it all. I mean, he's mobile, can throw deep, has the accuracy, can throw from every angle, can elude pressure. It's what makes him so tough. Steven Nelson, speaking before practice, was in Kansas City when Mahomes was running the scout team, believe it or not, and Mahomes was just shredding up the defense, the Chiefs' defense in practice day in and day out. They realized that this was going to be someone special, but they had Alex Smith. That's who the quarterback was for the Chiefs when they played the Eagles back in week 2 of the 2017 season, a game that the Chiefs were victorious in before the Eagles beat the New York Giants and went on to win 9 consecutive games on their way to the NFC East Division title, the number 1 overall seed, and eventually, of course, the Super Bowl. But nonetheless, Mahomes was waiting in the wings. They knew they had a special talent, but they knew that he needed time to develop and grow and be nurtured, and they've handled it the right way.
Yeah.
And Mahomes is a star quarterback who gives the Chiefs a chance. Now, hopefully, they've lost 2 straight games, again, by combined 7 points to 2 very good teams. But nonetheless, you wonder if they're going to start to worry a little bit because they're not used to being in this situation. They've been coming out of the gates
and
winning fast.
Right? They don't worry. They're, as you said earlier, 2-time AFC champions. There are going to be, as Nick says, adversity facing teams throughout the year. We look at the tight ends. Jason Michael working with Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. Would love to see, of course, a lot of opportunities for them. This whole offense really wants to see it. There we go.
So the 5.
I don't think that's actually legal, Dallas Goedert, but looked really good in practice. As long as it's in practice on a dummy, not on a wall after a team party like the Milwaukee Brewers reliever did and broke his hand. Live coverage here of the Philadelphia Eagles as we get ready and just get closer to Sunday and the Eagles and the Chiefs. The return of Andy Reid. He's been here before as a former head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, 2013. Came in and beat Chip Kelly's Eagles, 26-16. Big brawl that day on the field. Deshaun in the middle of it. Chris Jones, I think, was in the middle. So was it Chris Jones in the middle for the Chiefs? I forget who it was. It was a nasty little battle. There's head coach Nick Sirianni, long snapper Rick Lovato. So it'll be a first-year head coach in Nick Sirianni against a coach in Andy Reid who has won throughout his career as a head coach and has, Chris, the Andy Reid tree, so very impressive with the likes of Harbaugh and Rivera and just down the line, those who have won. Brad Childress was a head coach back in the day.
Matt Culley Nagy, now in Houston.
David Culley. It's just, the list is just an impressive one. And Andy Reid had those men here in Philadelphia for the most part. McDermott.
Sean McDermott in Buffalo doing great things now. So, yeah, long lineage there. And it's, he's got a great program. You know, that's basically what it is. And you're looking to see how does Nick Sirianni build a program. And Sunday is going to be a great test, not just because you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs, but we've spoke about adversity. It's to see how this team responds, and seeing guys like Fletcher Cox going through drills right now. Those are the things you want to see. You want the leaders to step up and show the young guys, because there are a lot of young guys. We talked about the 2020 and 2021 draft classes being counted upon. There are a lot of young guys going through the paces and dealing with this for the first time.
Yep.
You look at the guys like, talked about Landon Dickerson. We saw him earlier. This is a guy who's used to winning national championships and making deep playoff runs into the college football landscape, not used to losing consecutive games and being on the field for that. So how will they adjust to it? And everything that they've said so far during the week in the press conferences has been right. Obviously, we'd love to see how spirited the practice is here. We're only going to be able to show a few minutes of it here today, but you want to see them get their work in. But you just want to see how do they respond. Do they come out on Sunday with a frenzied crowd at Lincoln Financial Field? The fans are going to be juiced to see the Chiefs in town. Obviously, LeSean McCoy will be honored at the game. He's the legend of the game, so that's going to be something that's going to be fun for fans to relish and enjoy. They want to see the Eagles respond. Everyone is disappointed by what happened Monday night, but you have to turn the page. You can't allow what happened Monday night to beat you Sunday against the Chiefs, especially coming off the short week.
Oh, yeah, and I don't think there'll be any carryover from that. Certainly, Eagles know that there is a major challenge awaiting on Sunday in the Chiefs. We are here at the NovaCare Complex, going through the warm-up phase, now working with some special teams, some defensive work here as well. Interesting little drill here. Let's take a look at what this is. Spacing, staying in your gap responsibility. And working with the linebackers here. That's Eric Wilson and Alex Singleton.
Indeed.
Dropping into coverage here. There we go.
And we know that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw the ball all over the field. You got to take away the big play threats in not just Tyreek Hill, but in Travis Kelce. They're going to be trying to get another receiver involved, whether it's McCoy Hardman or someone else. It's like they're looking for that other wide receiver to help complement Tyreek Hill out there on the field. The running game, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a threat to catch the ball out of the backfield. I know they're, leading up to the draft, there were comparisons to Brian Westbrook, as we're talking about former running backs, Eagles running backs on this show here. So he's gotten off to a slow start this season, but still has that ability to beat you, not just in the run game, but the pass game as well. And that's something that the Eagles have to be aware of. I mean, the big key, looking back to Monday night, is the Eagles just did not force the Cowboys into third and long situations. They did not win the early downs. And as Alex Singleton said after the game, look, when it's 3rd and 10, you know what's coming. You know they're passing the football. You can game plan accordingly. But when you're getting into 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and you have a balanced offensive attack like the Cowboys have, it just makes it that much tougher to figure out what's coming at you. And the Eagles were just not able to force Dallas into those 3rd and long situations that they have done a good job of earlier in the season. So winning the early downs going to be so important, so that that Patrick Mahomes will drop back to throw, and that you can unleash, whether you want to do the 4-man look, the 5-man look, however you want to get after them, that you're able to do so.
Look at Aaron Moorhead getting into it with his wide receivers. Block, keep your hands tight, keep them inside the shoulders, grab up near the shoulder pads. Don't let the referees see your hands at all, and you avoid holding calls. One of the big areas of improvement the Eagles need to show is in the area of penalties. Too many penalties through 3 games. And again, Coach Nick has talked about that and the need for more discipline. So, it is important that the Eagles do not get caught up in pre-snap penalties. Discipline so important. Holding calls, too many of them through these first 3 games for the Eagles. Look, it's a team that's still learning about itself, and we're playing a team this week in the Chiefs that is veteran through and through, coaching staff on down, Chris. So it really is a challenging spot for the Eagles, but hey, you don't back down from challenges. It's easy to be happy and great and wonderful when things are going well.
Of course.
You find out who's going to be with you in tough times, in times of adversity, as we look at a really cool agility drill from the defensive line, and you see how just incredible these athletes are at 300 plus pounds, how well they move, how they change direction. As we take a look here at Ryan Kerrigan, going through that, down, boom, pick up the loose ball and go. Love this drill.
Cutting on a dime. Love seeing Milton Williams here. Milton Williams been relied upon heavily, especially with the injury to Brandon Graham. So definitely would love to see him continue his progress.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Love this drill.
Ron Jackson here.
Yeah. So he's a lighter defensive lineman who forgot that you're supposed to pick up the ball there. Finish the play. Finish the play, Rook. Here we go. Let's see who we got. Oh, don't jump. Don't jump. Ball's moving. Really working on that. Love it. Is that Marlon?
Marlon T.
Yeah, Marlon T. Looking really athletic there for a huge man that he is. This is Who is that? Couldn't see the number.
Number 59 there.
What do you got for me on that official roster, C-Mac?
Oh, it's a new defensive end, Cameron Malveaux.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. Played a couple of games for the Browns last season. Was just signed to the practice squad. Actually played in the game against the Eagles last season for Cleveland.
Tough loss for the Philadelphia Eagles in Cleveland last year. It's the continuing coverage here of the Philadelphia Eagles 2021 season. We're here at the NovaCare Complex. Our coverage presented by DraftKings. Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, along with Chris McPherson, with you. Hope you're all having a very safe Thursday. Looking forward to Sunday's game against the Chiefs. And then it's just the schedule just continues to get tough, Chris. Road game at the 3-0 Panthers, who may or may not have Christian McCaffrey. We don't know that. Then that Thursday night game against Tampa Bay, and then a mini bye weekend, which the Eagles will really, really relish.
What's great, though, is you mentioned the injury situation there with McCaffrey, and they also lost J.C. Horn, their first-round pick, even though they traded for C.J. Henderson. But you just don't know which team is going to line up week in and week out. You may say right now, okay, this team looks tough down the line, but a key injury here or there. Eagles may be able to get some guys back. Again, we're waiting to see what happens with Rodney McLeod here. We also know Jack Driscoll was activated to participate in practice along with Josiah Scott. They started the season on injured reserve, so the Eagles may get some buys back. You just don't know who you're going to have for those matchups. So it's really just about honing in on the Kansas City Chiefs, what they bring to the table. They're healthy by and large coming into this showdown. So, it's trying to figure out which matchups you can exploit. Again, the goal is to try to create pressure and to force Patrick Mahomes into some mistakes. Again, 3 turnovers to start the game last week against Los Angeles, but they moved the ball up and down the field otherwise. They just came up a little short there as the Hail Mary felt incomplete at the end of the game.
And we are keeping our eyes on Rodney McLeod, who was a full participant in yesterday's practice, although it was a walkthrough. But encouraging that Davion Taylor also was a full participant, yes. The second-year linebacker from Colorado who just can't stay healthy. Jonathan Gannon's so high on Davion Taylor. Explosive speed. Calf injury is prohibiting him from really just letting loose and developing. So hopefully he's over that injury, that soft tissue injury or calf injury, and is ready to go. And let's take a look at Rodney in this drill. Rodney McLeod backing it. There we go. Take a look at that change of direction, range of motion. For me, Chris, I can't tell the difference, but he looked pretty good right there to me.
Yeah, certainly. That's the big thing is you want to see how does he come out in the injury report today if he's a full participant. It's a positive sign. It's another step forward. He has not been a full participant outside of that. The walkthrough yesterday was an estimation. So today is huge because the last few weeks he's been a limited participant. So you hope to see him get through practice healthy, fully, and then bounce back tomorrow. That's the big thing is how does he hold up the next day? So it's a nice progression here as we work our way towards Sunday. The guys talk about the leadership that he brings on the back end of the defense, someone who's been sorely missed out there on the field, but he's been a presence on the sidelines. He's a captain here for this team. He's someone who has really stepped up in that role the last couple of seasons. So it'd be great to get that playmaking ability. Someone who can, he can blitz, he can force fumbles, he can pick the ball off. The Eagles were able to get the first turnover of the season last week when Javon Hargrave was able to force the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands into the waiting arms of Fletcher Cox for that touchdown. So huge early on. They need to generate more, and hopefully these guys on the second level can generate more as well as we see Eric Wilson trailing in coverage and stepping up to make the play there as they go through their drills.
Tougher task for the Eagles, C-Mac. Offense or defense on Sunday?
Defense is a tougher task. This is, old world offense here. So Patrick Mahomes, definitely the guy there.
All right, there we go. That is our Thursday for you. A peek behind the curtain. Our coverage presented by DraftKings. Make sure you're with us 12:15 on Sunday. The kickoff show presented by Exalta. I'm Dave Spadaro for Chris McPherson. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have yourselves a great Eagles day. Fly, Eagles, fly, and go Birds!